Hey, what's up? Joe in Vegas here. Another review. Got to see another legend last night. A real legend. A legit legend. I don't think anybody would argue on the fact that Barry Manilow is one of the best, one of the biggest of all time. He goes back to that golden era. He's been doing this forever. He has a residency at the Westgate. That used to be the Hilton. And that used to be the International, home to Elvis. I think that's the same stage. I don't know if they ever redid that room. I think that's the same room and stage that Elvis used to play in. Barry's been there a while. I saw him probably 7-8 years ago. It's one of those funny things. You go to see these guys under the umbrella of, man, he's been doing this so long. He's so old. He's got to be winding down. We got to go see him because who knows how much longer he's got. But these motherfuckers keep going. He keeps going and going and going. He's got more energy than me at the show. So I'll give him a lot of credit for that. But yes, the underlying fact of that is you need to see all these guys before they're gone. They're getting old. I don't care how much plastic surgery and everything they have. Their bones are old. They're old. They cannot do it forever. I mean, you talk about the fountain of youth. You don't see it in sports. You don't see it anywhere else. But music, these guys keep going. And I think they know that if they stop, they're done. Like the fountain of youth is having 2 or 3 shows a week. You know, the travel probably killed them, so these guys probably love having these residencies. But just knowing you have a show on Wednesday and knowing you have a show on Friday and a show on Saturday and getting that love and that feedback is probably keeping these guys alive because music is one of the only things I know other than politics where these guys just do it forever. And God bless them, and we're so lucky to have these types of people. So Barry Manilow, how do you explain him? He is just one of those guys. He talks about it early on in the show. He's a melody guy, and he's like, what we're missing from music today is melodies, and he's not wrong. You don't have melodies anymore. You have lyrics, and you have beats, and you have and rhythm, but the melodies, these sing-along kind of songs that people have been singing for 50 years, feels like it's gone away. And what I liked about his show is, and some of these older guys, when you see them, is they have stories. They have 50, 60 years of stories, and they squeeze as many. They can have a whole show without music, just telling stories of how I got to this and how I grew up in Brooklyn. You know, he's a New Yorker. He doesn't look like a New Yorker, but he's a New Yorker, and he's not like get the fuck out of here guy from Brooklyn. He's like I'm Jewish, so I can make these jokes. He's like a Jewish, have you seen my keys? He's one of those kind of, and it's funny. So when he talks, it's just, he's a very entertaining guy. You know, my grandfather used to take me to Coney Island, and it's very entertaining. And the fans that are there are such diehards. They're such diehards that it makes it fun. And you know what he does too? And I was telling the person I was with, such a simple idea. They have glow sticks in every seat. It probably costs them 1 cent, 2 cents for every glow stick. What happens is it sets a vibe in the crowd. You have this pitch dark room now with glow sticks everywhere. Everybody's singing them and then singing them. They're flipping them and they're waving them around and they're throwing them at each other. And it makes this atmosphere in a crowd that normally would be pitch dark, a bunch of people, elderly crowd who would just sit there quietly. And waving a glow stick is something you can do that brings the crowd alive. So whoever thought of that on his team, bravo. They also have a Copacabana bar, and a lot of the drinks are served in little cups that are flashy. So when you look around the crowd, there's a lot of energy coming out of there just from the lighting, the flashing, and it sets a tone. And he does I don't take anything away from him. He sets a fantastic tone. It's a very fun show. Let me get into the set list. Because he does everything. He does everything you want him to do. Plus, like I said, the stories in between is what really makes this a special show. Starts with It's a Miracle, Daybreak. Then he gets into Looks Like We Made It, Can't Smile Without You, This One's For You, New York City Rhythm, Even Now. Then he does a little montage of the old songs, Ships, Ready to Take a Chance Again, Trying to Get That Feeling Again. You know what? I'm looking here. This isn't actually an old set list. No one posted the set list. There's a couple. This is mostly the same. This set list has a Let's Hang On by the Four Seasons. He did not do that. He did a little story time about how he started writing jingles. So he talked about the what's it called? The Band-Aid commercial. I'm stuck on Band-Aids and Band-Aids stuck on me. And he wrote that. I'm trying to Google quickly. I think he did the Allstate commercial. Barry Manilow. Let's see. Barry Manilow jingles. I think he did the Like a Good Neighbor one too. But he had some big ones. Yeah, State Farm, Like a Good Neighbor, and Stuck on Band-Aid. Those were the big ones he sang and he talked about. And those have been on fucking TV for, God, 40 years. So God knows how much he made. He maybe didn't make that much because he sold them years ago when he was a kid. But still, it's a great way to get started. He tells all the stories. If you're a wannabe singer, I mean, you listen to his stories and how these guys used to grind it out. They don't do that anymore. It's like now you record at home and you upload it, and if it hits, it hits, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. These guys were out doing jingles. They were out going to playing bar mitzvahs and wedding halls and whatever they can do to just get out there, and it worked. I know it was less crowded, but these guys put the time and energy in, and I'm sure they're amazed where their careers ended up. Anyway, then he did Could It Be Magic? He did a disco version of it. I think he said Donna Summers covered it, so he did his own version. And then he did I Made It Through the Rain. And then he did Mandy, which I fucking love. Mandy's such a good song, dude. And then Could It Be Magic? And then he did I Write the Songs. And then he ended with his big, long Copacabana party, I guess, where there's confetti and his dancers are there in big, carnival-type outfits. He brings down this little bridge so he's able to walk over the crowd and into the crowd and really engage. He's fantastic. I mean, he's a performer. He's not just about the music. The guy knows how to talk to a crowd. He's such a sweet guy. He's such a if he's not genuine, I think he is, but if he's not, then it's just he's so good at making you think that, he's loving it. He might hate this. He might be tired of doing this for all these years. I don't think so. I think he loved it, and I think he's so appreciative that people are still showing up to see him. And like I said, the fans were nuts. Fans were just crazy for him, as they should be. And it's a fun show. It's just fun. It's if you're Jewish, you know the word schmaltz. That's what it felt like. It's just schmaltz. It's just cheesy, but like a good kind of cheesy, not like a rolling your eyes cheesy. Just like if you're a music snob, you won't enjoy it. If you can just go there, have some drinks, get a little drunk, get a lot drunk, gamble, have some dinner, go see Barry Manilow for an hour and a half, that's what it is. That's what half of Vegas is all about. Just go and enjoy it. The tickets are not expensive. I think I paid $75 for the floor. We ended up moving back because the whole back area was empty, so we had all this room to ourselves. The balconies are only $50 tickets. I mean, it's for what you're paying, it's such a good bargain. Scale of 1 to 10 for Barry Manilow, I'll give it an 8.4. I think that's a fair score. It's not you're not going to go out. If you're a diehard, you might walk out of there and say that's the best night of my life. But for a regular person who just knows Barry and knows the hits, 8.4. It's a fun night. You get your money's worth. I appreciate you listening. If you've seen Barry here in the past, new, old, anytime, feel free to leave comments on what you thought of the show. Subscribe, comment, like, share, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you at the next show. Bye-bye.